So the Hudson family were referred by their pediatrician to one of those scholarship families, and they waited about a year and a half. And they're a great family, really great parents who adopted 2 little kids.
Morgan is 11 and Isaac is almost 8.
He's very active. That activity turned into aggression.
Kindergarten. He started in kindergarten. He was diagnosed with ADHD. His birth mother, she realized she couldn't do a new baby, so she decided to place at the very beginning. He is energetic. He's funny. He's so smart, creative. When he was 2.5, I walked into his bedroom and he had taken his diaper and somehow got it above the door frame. And when I opened the door, the diaper fell right on my head. And he said, "Yes, my booby trap worked." So, I mean, he's just really creative and fun and lively.
He's such a good kid.
He's such a good kid. But there were times where I didn't like him.
He'd slam doors, punch through walls, just scream and kick.
He hit, bite. His room had lots and lots of holes. I would say,
7 or 8.
7 or 8 big holes.
Yeah.
But when you look at the picture of when I was painting it, I mean, we had holes like this all over the room. I bet there were 100 holes that he would just shove a pencil through, or
He ripped the closet door off the closet.
It was so chaotic that we couldn't do anything with our house. I mean, it was just going to get ruined, and we all knew it. And there was nothing out. You know, I wouldn't want anything out that would be breakable, because I never knew when it was going to be thrown against the wall. It's painful to watch and look towards the future and think, what is going to happen when we're in the teenage years and we don't have a connection yet? You know, and I don't know how to control anything. It was just chaos. And then you add Morgan on top of it, which is also chaos because of her executive functioning. This house was not fun to be in.
The thing about adoption is there are a lot of times other issues that come with that, and these 2 little guys have some reactive attachment disorder, and with that, a lot of really out of control behaviors.
I think Alicia was feeling very desperate. I think when you're in a position where you feel like you're doing everything you can and you just don't know what to do anymore, you kind of feel like, well, what's the point of anything? And so when I called to tell them that I was going to work with their family, you know, she just started crying. She's like, I don't know if anything's going to help.
I've had a lot of parenting advice from people who don't have children. I've had parenting advice from people who do have children. None of it works. I thought, you know, this is not going to work.
And I said, well, you know, all we can do is try and see what happens. But as long as you're using what we teach and he's using what we teach, things should get better.
When she showed up, she was so calm. There was no judgment from her.
She's very good at making you feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
She knew how to calm me down, and it was all crazy in our house. And I made holes in my walls.
Do you make holes in your walls now?
No.
No.
There's no question that Families First is effective because they're working holistically with the entire family. So it's really easy for a family to go into a therapy office and just everybody behave themselves for an hour once a week. But if you have a specialist who's coming into the home and they're doing it 8 hours a week, even 4 times a week, 2 hours at a time, they really are right there in the family's business, and they're there when those behaviors are happening. That doesn't happen in a therapist's office. We can talk about it all we want, but then when you go home, it's really hard to implement that. And having a specialist there who can help you implement in the moment when you're emotionally triggered, when your ego's involved because it's your kids, all of those things, that makes a huge difference.
Think about the fact that we're making changes in the core of those families that are most likely to be generating the kids who are going to enter the youth corrections and correctional systems. And when we make those changes at the parent level, those changes aren't temporary. They become permanent. Right now, we have 260 families on a waiting list, just like the Hudsons who had to wait 18 months before we could get to them. And these families are in dire need of this help.
And I also love that they teach the kids skills, so it brings them in too. Their skills were accept decisions of authority.
Just getting their attention where they had to look us in the eye and say okay.
Huge.
When we talked to them. Where before, you'd be chasing them out the door trying to talk to them.
And they run faster than us.
So he was very aggressive verbally. He would punch holes in walls. He would break property. He's very independent, so he would just go and do what he wanted. I realized when I went in that they would praise little things that Isaac was doing well, and so that was a strength that they had.
What do you praise? I can't find any good. I mean, it became so negative that it was like, what is good? And there was so much good. We were just missing it because we were so focused on the bad.
I worked on that skill first, which was called effective praise, and we worked on describing the good things that Isaac was doing and praising them and giving a reward if it was a very good behavior.
The other thing that she had us do was be very descriptive. That was key. And we had never been descriptive before, which totally makes sense. So, and relate it to him. A lot of times I related it to me.
Is your mom or dad different after Erica came?
Yeah, really way different.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Erica taught a lot of things to my mom and dad. Yeah. Just, they don't get as mad as they used to.
And so I was really proud of them because it's really hard to have children and not know what to do and feel so desperate. And to finally have a sense of hope, I think was a very proud moment for them.
Having them come into the house, first of all, is such a blessing. It's amazing to have them be able to see everything that's going on and see the dynamics in the home and teach specifically to your family.
Behavioral specialists are on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they follow up with that family for a full year. So even after the 54 hours with Erica was done, that family had access to her and continues to have access to her because it hasn't been a year yet, for a full year. And she follows up with them.
They're still available 24/7. So
That was very comforting.
it was so...
You could call her anytime you needed to.
And we did.
She knew her stuff. I mean, whenever we had a question, she told us exactly how to handle it. It was really amazing.
It was. She did it, and it worked. She would tell us what to do. We would do it. It would work. And being able to call her for the whole year, I mean, really, what a blessing.
So the Youth Outcome Questionnaire is evidence-based questionnaire made to measure the distress level of a youth. So for Isaac, his distress level came back as should be residential treatment. Okay, so his distress level came back at 69. The determination is that a 13-point drop is considered clinically significant. So if I was a therapist and I was working with a kid and I worked with them over a year's time and I had a 13-point drop, they would say, yay, that was wonderful. In Isaac's case, in the 53 hours that Erica spent in the home, Isaac's score dropped from 69 to 39. So that's a 30-point decrease, over double what would be considered clinically significant in a matter of weeks rather than a matter of years.
On average, the behaviors of those children got better 8 months after we ended the service. Now think about that. That means on average there was no recidivism. That these kids on average are all getting better after we have stopped our service. Why? Because the parents have learned how to parent.
And so after 7 weeks, I went back to the Hudson home and I walked in and I thought, something's different. And she said, yeah, did you notice like the paint and the carpet? And I was like, yeah, like this house looks great. And she's like, yeah, come see Isaac's room. So they finally redid it all because they said they finally had confidence in Isaac that he could control his emotions.
You couldn't even reason with him when this started. I mean, he would just go into a tantrum. And now you can actually have a conversation with him. Actually exciting to see where he can go and what he can do.
Yeah, he's got a lot of potential. You know, my heart is so full for those that are helping our kids. You know, I've always wanted to be somebody who can make a difference like that. And I can't make a difference for a lot of kids right now, but I can make a difference for mine. And that's a start.